it's really just like our own little mental traps that we fall into.
Yeah.
And if you could like zoom out and just pretend that you're coaching someone that you care about. Pretend that you're coaching your kid.
Mm-hmm.
Pretend that you're speaking to a friend.
Because odds are you're going to care so much more. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, you think about the parent who's maybe struggling in their health, but they get news from a doctor that their kid is struggling in their health. Well, now they're going to take all of their attention and effort and focus it on their kid so that they can give them their very best, but they won't do them for themselves. So it's such a good point to say, like, yeah, think about yourself as in someone else's shoes. How would you treat them? How would you care for them? How would you make decisions? Like,
yeah. And if you're, if your child like was like, hey, I'm going to start running 3 days a week because I care about my fitness, and they like skipped one day and they felt bad about it, you wouldn't
fucking
berate
idiot.
them. Yeah, you little piece of shit. You didn't run today?
Yeah.
You suck.
No way.
You suck.
You'd be like, that's okay.
You're like,
It's tomorrow.
yeah, run tomorrow.
Yeah.
You're good.
Yep.
Like, it's fine, So it's, it can feel so abstract, but if you can really do that, talk to yourself like you're talking to someone you care about, coach yourself, and just continue to read. Yeah, like we were talking about earlier. Instead of waiting for January 1st, 2026, tomorrow, right?
Yep.
Restart tomorrow.
There's always that quote I see floating around about like, it's like something about related to you could push this goal off for 6 months, or you could start now and look back on how far you've come in 6 months or whatever that timeline is. But it truly is like, make a point to begin today, and then each and every day make that conscious effort to take, like we said, a little hack at that tree. And in 6 months, that tree might fall down.
Yeah.
But if you don't start, or you quit at some point along the path because you're not willing to take that extra step, or give that extra effort, or find that person that is more knowledgeable that can assist us, you're going to look back and not be any further down the road than what you hoped for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you don't take a swing one day, you have the next day. Like, just be honest with yourself.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't take that swing today. I wanted to. I should have, but I didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I can accept that. I can take responsibility for that.
Yeah.
And I can begin again tomorrow.
Yeah, I kind of see it as this balance too of like, guilt and shame never lead to success. And that's kind of like a big, kind of heavy thought, and you could relate this to like all different aspects of your life, not just like health and fitness. But when we feel like shameful or guilty about like, I failed myself, or I didn't accomplish that thing that I wanted to do, and now because of it, I'm going to beat myself up mentally, you're never going to have success. Like, truly.
Yeah.
So if we can give ourselves an appropriate level of grace and be honest with ourselves in that, that's where like we truly will see that success. And sometimes it takes other people to like lead us in that. Like, that's where, coaches can help keep us accountable. Friends and family can help keep us accountable. People who you trust, who aren't going to like let you just, who are going to empower you and like who care, like people
call you out. Yeah.
People who love you will call you out on your shit.
Yeah.
Like, truly, like if I am doing something that is just stupid and my wife notices, like, she's going to say something, and I would hope she says something. Like, it's going to feel like shit in the moment, but like she's going to hold me accountable. So like, you don't, all that to say, like, you don't have to do it alone. But back to my original thought is, if every time you fail yourself, you immediately like go to that feeling of like shame and beating yourself up, like, you're never going to be able to take that next hill. So, yeah.
You're speaking my language, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this is something that personally I've dealt with.
Yeah. Same.
A lot.
Yeah.
And I don't know where it comes from. Maybe parenting patterns, or, the school system, whatever it is, but so many people just think that we can like guilt or shame or whip ourselves into action or into moving in the direction that we want through force, right? But all that does is it leads to paralysis.
Yeah.
And then eventually more guilt and shame because we're continuing to not move towards the goal.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like, you're afraid that you begin to get afraid to take any action because then you're gonna hear that voice berating you in your head of like, oh, that was stupid. Why did you do that?
And it almost like builds it up to be something bigger than it's not.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. You build it up in your mind to be something bigger than it really is. Absolutely. Versus just doing it, right? Or just swallowing that pill. And so, yeah, you're totally speaking my language. And that is, that's kind of that like toxic fuel we were talking about earlier of like, that can, in a sense, that can launch you if you are really in a place where you're, say you're 40 pounds overweight and you've been drinking, 5-6 alcoholic beverages a night and you're not sleeping well and you feel like shit. Sometimes looking in the mirror and being like, wow, I feel really shitty about this. Sometimes that can be that jumping off point.
Yeah.
But
it could be your rock bottom to.
Yeah, but it's not going to, like you said, it's not going to lead long term.
Yes, correct.
To success. Because again, that's a fuel that can be toxic.
Yeah.
Right. And yeah, it's just, for me, yeah, that guilt and the shame and that mental voice in my head that's, constantly judging my actions and reminding me that I'm not where I want to be yet. That if I don't control that, then it leads to paralysis.
Yes.
And it leads to like me not taking action. Whereas if I can like get myself into a more open and kind of playful state where I'm doing things because I'm interested in them, or I want to see what I can create, then that is a much more empowering place to act from for me. And I can, it just flows so much more.
Yeah. You can step into who you've been like created to be.
Yeah. It's more of a flow. And it's more of you're creating because you want to see what you can create.
Yeah.
Versus like, oh, I have to do this to move towards this goal because if I don't, then I'm a piece of shit. And it's just that guilt and that force, right? Yeah. Versus meeting, kind of meeting yourself where you're at and saying, okay, like why, maybe even being curious is like, okay, I know I want to work out. I know I want to lose 10 pounds. Why am I not choosing to do that? Right?
Yeah.
Getting curious and getting quiet with yourself and again, giving yourself that space to figure out, okay, what's really driving me internally versus, again, relying on that guilt and that shame and that whip.